Alright, here in our second session in Adobe Illustrator, we're going to be concentrating on making shapes. And you didn't make shapes last time, you just worked with shapes that were already made. So I'm going to go ahead and start Adobe Illustrator and let me show you how this one's going to work. There is not really a handout for this, but I think you'll be okay if you watch this demo. Here I am in Adobe Illustrator, and I'll click File and Open, and what you'll need to do is get to Drive L, our courses drive. So here we go, Drive L, period 7, Assignments, and Illustrator. This is session number 2 about making shapes, so that's where you'll look. You need this file right here, and we'll pull it up. Alright. Now, over on the left-hand side of this artboard, and I'm going to collapse this one panel here, is a list of shapes that I would like for you to make, and I'm going to give you some tips as we go along here. Color doesn't make a whole lot of difference to me on this right now, so they could be just about any color you want. Alright, if you want to set up a color, you could. I'll make this red, and I just changed the fill box to red. I'm going to leave the stroke box at black. I might bump the thickness of the stroke up a little bit. But the first thing on this shape list says a perfect square. Alright, well, right here is the rectangle tool, and you're going to notice that if you click and hold here, there are several tools underneath there that we're going to be using. Okay, but right now we just need the rectangle tool. And to make a perfect square, what you do is you hold down the shift key when you draw it. Holding the shift key locks it into being a perfect square. There we go. That's the only kind of the only key. Now, if you want to keep on track of what you're doing here, I could take this black arrow and I could move this little label right over here, perfect square, and we've got it. All right, the next one is just a rectangle. Well, all right. I'll click the rectangle tool and just make any kind of rectangle that you want to make. Now you'll notice this one came up just plain black, and again, the colors don't matter that much to me today. If you want to come down here to the black fill box and give it a different fill color, you can do that. You can add an outline color to it if you want to. That's really up to you, and you can add an outline thickness if you wish. But that's totally your call. Not really going to worry about that. Folks, there's a rectangle. Alright, now the next one, a rounded rectangle, you have to click and hold, and it's right here. Now I will say, I want to tell you one thing, that when you're dragging this out, if you tap the up or down arrow on your keyboard, and you got to kind of tap, 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 you'll see a change in the roundness of the corner. You can change how round the corner is. If you keep tapping down or keep tapping the up arrow, it will change the amount of roundedness in the corner. And then you have to do that while you're drawing it. Tap the up or down arrow. A perfect circle is done like this. Click and hold, go to the ellipse tool. Alright, you have to hold the shift key down and drag it, and that makes a perfect circle. Now, for an oval, you just don't hold the shift key, and you can make ovals of whatever, height or width you want. So I'll just label those very quickly here. All right, now a triangle is up next, and here's what you have to do for a triangle. Click and hold here where this one set of tools has all these things underneath it. It started with the rectangle tool. I'm down to the polygon tool now, and as I click and while I'm dragging here, I want a triangle, so I have to tap the down arrow, tap, tap, tap until I have 3 sides. All right, tapping the arrow key adjusts the number of sides. The next shape on the list is a pentagon with 5 sides. So if I'm using that same tool, the polygon tool, drag, I've got 3 sides, tap up, up, I've got 5 sides. Alright, the next one is a hexagon, that's 6 sides, so I'll click and drag. While I am dragging, I'll tap the up arrow, and that gives me 6 sides. The next one's an octagon, that's 8 sides, so I'll click and drag, and while I am dragging, tap up, up, and I've got 8 sides on that. Now again, you can take these little labels here and you can label those if you want to. It's really not that big of a deal whether you do or you don't. It is a matter of knowing how to make the shapes. That's what we're really after. Alright, next up on our list, 5-point star, 6-point star, 8-point star. Alright, I'm going back to that same tool set that I've been using. Rectangle, rounded rectangle, click and hold. Here's the star tool. Alright, now if I just click and drag right now, it's going to give me that pretty standard 5-pointed star. Great. Alright, for a 6-pointed star, you might guess what's coming. Click, and while you are dragging, you can't let go of the mouse yet, while you're dragging, hit the up arrow. That adds a point to the star. Got it. Alright. Now for an 8-pointed star, I click, and while I am dragging, can't let go, it's got to be while I'm dragging, tap the up arrow that's on the keyboard, up arrow, and I've got an 8-pointed star. All right, so easy as that. There we go. We've got a 5-pointed star, a 6-pointed star, an 8-pointed star. Now the last three here are underneath a different tool. They're going to be located over here with the line segment tool, and to begin with, just a line segment is the first thing. So you can, if you click and hold, you'll see that there are tools hiding underneath here, and you always know that's true when you see a little bitty white triangle marker in the corner of the button there. There's a little marker there, and that tells you if you click and hold, there's more tools there that you can use. First one's just a line segment. Just click, drag, let go. That's all there is to it. Now you might want to thicken up the stroke a little bit up here at the top where it says stroke 1 point. All I'm doing here is just making it thicker, and you could change the color of it if you want to. You could, that's, colors don't matter that much today. You do whatever you want with colors. All right, the next one is that's a line segment with arrows. Now watch this. I'm going to go ahead and draw a line segment. Just click and drag, pow. I'll go ahead and make this one a little bit thicker, and I think I'll set that back to black. I'll double click that color and set it back to black. Now the arrows are found way over here on the right hand side of the screen underneath this stroke panel. Point to it right now. So I'll click here, and here's what you do. When you click on the stroke panel, down here about 2/3 of the way down, it has settings for arrowheads, and I can pick an arrowhead style. Now that arrowhead is huge, so I got to scale it down some. I'm using this scale setting to just twirl that down and make it a little bit more reasonable for that size of line. All right, now you see that arrowhead's on the left hand end of the line, so there's another setting right here for an arrowhead on the other end, and there's different styles, and again, that's really big. You can either just use these little down arrows, or you can click in here and say, make it like 25%, and that'll do it as well. All right, so I've got this nice line with an arrow on it. Okay, and I might make that line just a little bit thinner. There we go. And then there's one more, and that's an arc. Okay, the arc tool is underneath the line segment tool right here. You click and hold, you'll see the arc tool. The arc tool just makes a bend like that. All right, I'm going to make it thicker so you can see it. And I'm making it thicker with the stroke setting up on the control panel across the top where it says stroke, and it said like 1 point to begin with, and I've thickened it up. All right, so again, these labels, kind of up to you. Here's a line segment right here. Here's a line segment with arrows right here. Here's an arc over here. And folks, that is it. That's what this assignment is all about, is making these shapes. Now, when you save it, you'll have to save it first of all. Do File, Save As, and just save on your network drive like normal. Go to Drive H. You can save it in your Dropbox if you want to, and it's just called Making Shapes. You can keep that name. Now when you're saving in Illustrator, you click Save, and it adds that little AI to it, so you click again. And one thing that will happen here, pops up with this Illustrator options box. You just click OK, and it will save on that. Now also remember that I'd like for you to drag that file and drop it into your turn-in folder on Drive L. All right, folks, that's what this one doesn't have to look like much. It's just a bunch of shapes. All right, but you got to know how to make them, and that's what this one is about. Have at it.